Hello, hello, everyone. I'm going to just go ahead and give you the reading that I know you're all going to want before you have to ask for it, because I am just as interested in hearing the answer as I'm sure all of you are. So, we're going to be doing a mediumship reading with the Idaho 4 victims in response to Brian Kohberger accepting a plea deal and admitting guilt in the Idaho 4 case today. I just saw the news and I was about to sit down to do another reading, and then I saw the news and I was like, okay, gonna do this instead. So, as always, this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not fact. I do have a bit of a new style of mediumship that I'm going to be doing. I would have a video also coming out tomorrow with Mandy, um, where we do a similar style mediumship. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. And also using the Whispers of the Unsolved and the Afterlife Outbox. Okay. Which of the Idaho 4 am I going to be channeling? Okay, Ethan. Okay, Ethan, got ya. Uh, what do we need to know about what's happening right now? A very, in a way, painful ending that's been a long time coming, because the pain comes from cracked open emotions. There's no longer a held breath, and when you breathe, you feel. So this feels like a painful ending, but it is also a beautiful release. The Lovers. Xana Xana seconds that. Page of Cups in reverse. Would the message from Xana be along the lines of, there's been so much emotional growth for so many people since the beginning of this case in so many ways. So it's a painful ending, but it's not, because you take the 4 of them with you in these lessons, in these experiences, in these, if you're someone who followed the case very closely or kind of closely or didn't really, and you invested any amount of emotions in there, you've gotten something out of this. Um, Whether that be a different way to view your own life or the world, or something, maybe community, maybe what's important, maybe how short life is. It's like Xana saying it's a painful ending, but there's been so much growth as well. It's been a painful ending, but there's been so much growth as well, except the growth hasn't all the way integrated yet, because everyone has been waiting for the final answer so they could take the breath. Now that you can take the breath, you can experience in some way what you're taking from this, whether that be growth, healing, a perspective shift, whatever it is. Yeah, the burden. The personal burden that you had with this. And by that I mean, like, what did it make you feel? So Xana's talking about the personal burden you had with this blank is a lesson learned for growth. So while it's a painful ending, you take them with you in what you are taking from it. Yes, Hanged Man, surrender. Okay. Okay, I feel like that's also surrender, and pass the mic back to Ethan. Fair to say? Tower. Change of topic to a much heavier topic. Oh, oh, oh. No, change, not Ethan. Not Ethan. Change other. Queen of Pentacles. Who is that? Xana? Queen of Pentacles, Xana? Oh, heartbreak, the lovers. Okay, let me reshuffle this. Talking to Xana, going into a heavier topic. Is that fair to say? Okay, going in, yeah. Oh, Ethan and Xana. Oh, that's why. Okay, Ethan and Xana going into another topic. Should we have Ethan on the right and Xana on the left? Should we have? Did I just do Ethan on the right and Xana on the left? Xana's here. Oh, Queen in reverse. So Xana's here. Ethan's here. Okay. Give me 1 second. She's bringing me to the actual table where the paperwork is being signed, like symbolically. And she's bringing up a dream I had a really long time ago about this case that I posted on, but I can't remember the dream. Where are we going with this? Disconnect to reconnect. Oh, go look at what the dream was right now. Walk away and go. Oh, I will be right back. Okay, so I found the video. Is from 2 years ago, December 15th, 2022. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember. I think it might have had something to do with a boat, but other than that, I don't remember this at all. Um, I'm gonna shuffle as I start, and then we're gonna get to it. Okay. She said, "No, girl, go get the video, please." Say less, Santa. I'll do it. Okay, let me just. Okay, why is this making me nervous? Okay, let's go. Hello, hello. So today we need to talk about a dream that I had. This is not a reading per se. I'm going through the list of notes that I took when I woke up. If you watched my reading about Shanquella Robinson, I mentioned how I was trying to get time to do the reading, but I had a lot of other busy work that I had to get done. And then I ended up having several dreams about it. And I was like, okay, I got to get this out because it's like everywhere in my brain. Well, that is happening again. Okay, so this reading, the reading that I'm going to do that comes from this is going to be this weekend, but I'll explain that in a minute. So I had a dream. For a little background. Wait, this weekend is July 4th. Fireworks. I don't know why I just felt called to say that, but information. Hold that. You never know.
My
Use
house
it.
has a horseshoe driveway, goes like that. And then off to the side, there's grass. There's like my dad keeps a like a trailer on the side, and then so you can pull up there. That is able to be pulled up, but it's not really meant to be pulled up on. Does that make sense? So in my dream, I was watching myself sleeping, but then I was taken to the front of my house where my driveway is, and there was a black limo. Now, for context, yesterday, um, we have bulk trash day, so I had a bunch of stuff out by the curb, and I just happened to be taking the trash out yesterday, and the trash guys drove up, got out and looked at the stuff I had there, got back inside, and then drove to my neighbor's house, and I was like, "What the heck?" And they saw me and then backed the truck back to my house and got the stuff. And I was like, "Oh, thank you." Fast forward to my dream. That same thing happened. It was like this black limo pulled past my house and then slammed on the brakes and then backed up to my house. And then pulled into my driveway. And as I said, horseshoe driveway. So I only have one car in the driveway, my car. So they could have parked anywhere, but they pulled onto the grass on the side of my house, which to me was kind of like, it was making me feel like it was some kind of like power move, like I can do what I want type of thing. Um, so then I go back in my dream. I'm looking at myself in my room again, and there is a tall man in a gray suit, like waking me up. And he basically tells me it's time for the meeting. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
I just heard, "Watch this, the dots will connect," and then 2 of cups. I just said in the mediumship that I was doing, I'm being taken to a table where where the contract where the contract is being signed. Hold on one second. Tall man in a gray suit. Does that have any relevance? I don't know. I'll have to look. Okay, let's just keep going.
I get in the limo with them and we go into this office that seemed to me like either like a government office or like, like how they have like interrogation like rooms that are like separate from an actual office.
Walking away in reverse. Can't get out. No way out. No way out. He had to take the plea deal. There was no way out. They had him. They had him on something.
Maybe like that, but it was
Allegedly.
like not like it was like decorated nicely like an office, but it wasn't like a normal office. I don't know how to explain it. But it was like a very narrow desk, almost kind of like my desk that I use. It's I don't know, it's not that wide.
Didn't I do that with my hand? Did I do that with my hands when I was describing the table, or did I do that in my head with my hands? Okay.
So essentially what I'm saying is I was sitting fairly closely to the person on the other side of the desk, because the desk was narrow.
Sitting very closely to the person on the other side of the desk. Knight of Wands is a messenger. What's the message? Working. This dream was them showing me a piece of it back then. 9 of Pentacles in reverse, codependency, a group effort. Oh my god.
Um, I noticed that there was a lot of frames on the walls, but there was no pictures in any of them.
I'm sorry, what? I noticed that there was a lot of frames on the walls, but no pictures in any of them because everyone kept saying he's framed, he's framed, he's framed, and obviously none of it held weight because he just took the plea deal, admitting guilt. The world in reverse. A frame with a person in reverse. Empty frame. Empty frame. Was not framed. Kaylee said, put an exclamation point on that. A lot of exclamation points on that. because a lot of people were fooled, and that's okay, but hopefully now this gives the closure. There she is. Uh, she signed it. Signed me. Oh, because everyone well, not maybe not everyone, but, like, I always see the angel's wings on a lot of pictures of her specifically. So, anyway, well, let's go back to this dream that's very specific.
So fast forward, then this person puts down 2 lines of 10 photos on the desk. Like,
This is how I started this series. By doing that line of I after this, I did the line of photos. I'm gonna have to go through those readings too, aren't I? No. Oh, to bring more clarity to justice. It wasn't no. Yes, to bring more clarity to justice. Yes. Oh. Oh, I wonder what I said.
you know, when, like, someone's sitting in an interrogation and they put all the pictures down, it wasn't like I was in an interrogation, but it was giving interrogation vibes.
Not interrogation, giving interrogation vibes. Plea deal negotiation. Yeah. Who's this? Maddie? Queen of Cups, Maddie? Kaylee? All of them. Lack of communication in reverse. Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Communication in reverse, communication misunderstood because I said this person, that person, then
almost like almost like I was being put in the position to interrogate the photos that I was being shown, if that makes sense. Um, and then
I was being put in the position to interrogate the photos I was just shown. What does that mean? Darkness, looking ahead. There's something that has photographic evidence that he cannot escape. Yes? No. Oh, digital evidence, not photographic evidence. No. What am I missing? Oh, tracking movement. No. It's not a photographic evidence. Is it that the only thing that he really can't escape was the confession? Everything else, it was really rolling the dice, but he found it too big of a risk because they were unwilling to take the death penalty off the table because that's what they were using from the beginning when they started it as that bargaining chip because they had a feeling that it wasn't going to be undeniable to a T, so they were gonna need to have that on the table to use as a bargaining chip. I went back and looked through my previous readings, and that's, something that came up in one of them, that they needed it in place as a bargaining chip in case they didn't have enough. Is that what this reference is? Extreme isolation. It is the one thing he now can't escape. They had to put enough pressure on him so he felt like it was too much of a risk to go in any other direction.
taken and I was shown a pile of clothes on fire that was like right outside of this office that we were in. I don't know. That part didn't all the way make sense to me, but maybe it will when I do a reading on this. Um, and then I do remember at one point, Xana came in and interrupted the meeting, like not like in a rude way, just like I think she was
Okay, I'm sorry. I was about to pause the reading and flip the card, but I flipped a card first to see if I should, and it was Knight of Swords in reverse, and I heard, "Don't interrupt," and then I literally just said that.
I think she said
One sec.
lunch or something's here or gave a paper, something along those lines to the other person. And then I like woke up and then I went back to sleep. The entire dream repeated, pretty much the same, except now instead of a black limo, it was like either a dark gray or like a gunmetal almost type of color. Um, so the person that was on the other side of the desk, their phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and he just kept saying, "I'm not allowed to answer. I'm not supposed to answer. I'm not allowed to answer." And I was like, "All right, well, can you like put it on silent then? Because I can't focus if your phone's gonna keep ringing." I like remember just getting very agitated, like stop, stop.
I'm even like that in my dreams, apparently.
Like I couldn't focus because the phone was like ringing and then stop, ringing and then stop. Um, so that kind of got me agitated, and I asked for water. I'm like, I need water if I'm going to keep talking. Like, I feel like it was very hot in there, or stuffy, or humid, or something. And they kept saying, no, you can only have soda. I was like, I don't want soda. Soda's not going to help if I'm trying to talk and my mouth is dry and it's hot in here, dehydrated.
You can only have soda. You can only have soda. No, you can only take this deal or we're not taking the death penalty off the table. You can take this deal or we're not taking the death penalty off the table. Queen of Wands in reverse, no drama, no go, no confidence. That's what made him not be confident enough to go to trial. They would not take it off the table and they put it in place in the way that they did because they knew they weren't going to have exactly what they needed. But that bargaining chip was going to be what they needed it to be. I'm going to go back into those readings as well and do this on those parts of it.
It. And they just kept saying, no, you can only have soda. Looking back in retrospect, I feel like that was because like it was almost as if so essentially what I'm getting at here is I believe the pictures that were on the desk were representing the killer's night from start to finish. Like prior to the murders to after the murders. Like I feel like I was being shown the scenes of the killer's entire day. And I feel like the not allowing me to have water and only having soda was like the person couldn't calm themselves down. Like it was like
A past upload, a past upload. Something uploaded into my system back then that it took me as long as it did to unpack to understand in the way that I was supposed to. Is that fair to say? Nine of Cups in reverse. Why is it reversed? Oh. Hmm. That's some call it out. Anyway, because I want it I want it to be able to like I don't know if convince is the right word, but I felt like I wanted to get some kind of more solid proof of it before it came to conclusion, which is why I was working on the blueprint of the mind with Brian. So that's what that looks like to me. King of Pentacles in reverse.
that, like shaking a soda explosion feeling like all day. I think that's
King of Pentacles in reverse, like didn't ground into exactly what I was looking for, but I think that's what's happening now, apparently.
that was the symbology there. Um, and as I was looking at the pictures on the desk, I was kind of like mentally taken to the scene, and I was like not sprinting, but like doing a decent jog around the house, like over and over and over again. And I used to have this dream when I was little that I was being, well, also kind of when I was an adult, but not for a while. But my parents used to have a pool at their house, above ground pool, and I used to have a dream that this clown was chasing me around the pool, and it would just happen all night. So it was similar to that, but it was like I would run twice and then I would stop and like look at the scene and then I would realize the person started chasing me again. Again, this is I'm not entirely sure what this all means yet. I'm just putting it out there and then I'm gonna analyze it later.
Clown chasing me around a pool. I'd stop, realize he's chasing me again. 2 laps. 2 laps. A trap and defeat. A trap and defeat. Brian had 2 swings that could have been hit out of the park if played right but they were misses because they weren't played right. Hiding stuff that does belong. Oh, hiding stuff that does belong. They didn't. If Brian's team would have found a different way to handle something about what they felt was missing from the evidence and not just making it seem like they were giving the court the runaround, that could have been a potential hit it out of the park, but it was a miss because of the way they played it. Is that fair to say? Real news. Fake news in reverse, real news. Okay. What's the second and last swing and a miss? Secret government program. Hired in reverse. Fired. Fired from a secret government program. Uh, Female voice. Ask how that was a swing and a miss. Secret trip in reverse. Blackmail paid off. A trip exposed. Blackmail paid off. A trip exposed. Blackmail paid off. They have something that is solid enough, even if the public doesn't think it is, they have something to go with something that may seem unsolid that makes it more solid. Um, but it's almost like if you have one piece of it over here and one piece of it over there, so it's on the board, but you don't really plan on connecting them with a tie until trial. So Brian's team doesn't necessarily catch on to like what those two can do together. Um, but I feel like last minute, maybe there's some kind of exchange. Like, look, we have this and this. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this? Because what if we add these two things together? Then it's an uh-oh for you. It kind of feels like that. Um, what two things? Witness plus social media in reverse. What people saw versus what they didn't see. Almost like any potential alternative suspect wouldn't have fit the description of Dylan from Dylan. There's something along those lines. Maybe there's an additional witness to something after the fact with social media in reverse, like something that is believed to be not seen but was seen. There's something like that. Is that fair to say? Okay. Drugs, poison. Just say, "Oh, okay." So, mm, in earlier readings, I was referencing a strong female energy, and I was referring to her as the Link, Link, and I believed that there was some kind of connection, but that she wasn't gonna be exposed, but there was some influence behind the scenes. Um, and then just a second ago, I got just say Link and flip the card in a very, like, matter of fact way like that. Just say Link and flip the card. Spouse partner. Okay. Let's go back into the dream.
Um, so after that, we go back inside to the office, and there's the 10 pictures on the desk, but now they've added 12. So they added 2 to the top row, 2 to the bottom row, and then 2 above the 10 pictures. So now essentially I have a line with 2 pictures, a line with 12, and a line with 12. And the 2 new ones are on the end of each row. So 2, like the 10 that were there before, and then 2 new, and 2 new up top. And whatever I saw in the top pictures shocked me back into an awake, like sat up, like that kind of awake where like I felt like, just absolute like couldn't catch my breath.
Whatever I saw in the top pictures would have been the beginning pictures, would have been the beginning of the plan. Ace of Cups, Two of Wands, the whatever I saw in the top row shocked me back into wanting to be awake. Was it the rage or the anger or whatever energy went into the planning of this? Two of Wands, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, whatever I saw in the top row shocked me back into awake. That would be his planning stage. The void. The void, the like a true void. Death in reverse. Oh my goodness. It's like you're alive and not at the same time. Like you're oh. Oh, people aren't gonna like if I say that. Oh, they don't have to like it. Um, People aren't gonna like if I say that. They don't have to like it. That means say it, right? Okay. Um, the void, it's, whatever I saw in those first pictures that went into the planning, it was someone who didn't like, alive, but dead at the same time, like the void, like, those things together equal to me, like, a soullessness, like, a feeling of soullessness. King of Swords, authority, truth. And also, it's like he's no void in the soul area, all in the mind area. That's where the obsessive nature comes from because he lives completely and utterly in his mind, not in his feelings, not people are not going to like this, not in his soul, but he lives completely in his mind. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it like I'm getting it. 10 of Wands in reverse. There. Now I'm done. I put down the burden. Thank you.
Kind of sweating, like
Same.
clammy, just like that kind of awake. Um, and I laid back down, and it took me a little bit to kind of doze back off into sleep. But when I did, I was standing on like it was either like a dock, like a wooden dock, or like rocks, but like it was near or like out into a body of water. And in the distance, I could see 3 figures that looked like men, could be wrong, but I was getting the those are men feeling. Um, it was like a paddle boat, but it had a really strong engine, and I know that because when it left, it like like they like revved up the engine, and it was like the engine for a much bigger boat, I guess you would say. It wasn't.
So a little paddle boat with a big engine, they had to just get it to the point where they put enough pressure on him where he would have to take the death penalty. Little boat, it's like they didn't have the big boat, but they had the big engine. We know we could get him to this point. We just have to get it. We just have to push him there. Lovers in reverse, take away his decision and make him feel forced. Little boat, big engine. And also, this is gonna take some time, so we're gonna need this big engine to keep the little paddle boat going.
Wasn't like a tiny paddle boat, like helper engine. It was like a speedboat. big speedboat engine on this little paddle boat. So anyway, they started throwing, I don't know what it was. It looked like paper to the left and then sped off to the right. Like it was like almost as if implying distraction, 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 and then the real way they went was the other way.
I don't know what to say.
And then so I'm taken back to the interview room. Like I witnessed this happen with the boat, and then I'm back in the interview room, and the doors like so I'm facing it's set up kind of like my office, like the doors behind me, and the other person's in front of me that's on the other side of the desk. The
I just recently rearranged my office to be back in the same spot.
door behind me starts to open, and the person that's on the other side of the desk just kind of like, and then I woke up. Like the person, let's say you're the person that's coming in the door and I'm the person that's on the other side of the desk for me. It was kind of like they looked directly at the person that was coming in the door and they were like, and then I woke up.
What does that mean, the door thing? Defense? Taking an offer. Okay. So then why was I getting the imagery of shaking the head no and then defense and offer? Is it because they tried to turn it down as long as they could, but it got too close to trial and they couldn't turn it down anymore because it was too big of a gamble? Hangman in reverse, yeah, not willing to make that sacrifice or roll those dice. Not willing to roll those dice, are you, buddy? Ethan. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Because things will take a real bad turn for you. Don't roll those dice. It's going to hurt. You just do what you do and you don't have to experience that pain of, well, the death penalty, which was Brian's fear.
So, what I'm taking this to mean is you guys have asked a lot of great questions. I am going to get to them. However, first, what I'm going to do is
Okay. There's a second dream video that I also forgot about, so I'm going to play that one. I think it's a clarification to this one or something. I just want to check that off my list and then we'll move forward. I am going to go back into that 10 row thing that I'm about to talk about in this video, and we'll compare that to now and get some more info. Let me get the second dream video up though. 1 second, be right back. Okay. Take 2.
Okay, so if you watched my video from the other day about the blueprint, I mentioned a passage from this book, and I was like,
It's December 15th, 2022.
wow, this is really ironic that I was posting something.
Ah, my bad.
Okay, so if you watched my video from the other day about the blueprint, I mentioned a passage from this book, and I was like, wow, this is really ironic that I was posting something so similar on the day that it said, and just for context, if you didn't watch it, the blueprint is essentially my theory on consciousness, and we're getting into how channeling works and all that. And then the passage from the day I posted it, which was the 13th, which I'm realizing now is a month exactly after the murders. And the passage was how to view the world, and it was just, anyway, I posted it on the community page. So I had a couple minutes because I have a doctor's appointment for my son, and I just didn't have enough time to do another reading right before it. So I went and I grabbed my book. Like, okay, let me just read it really quick, see what the passage is for today. After having the dreams that I just posted the last 2 videos about, December 15th, create physical death awareness. Always do what you are afraid to do. For Japanese samurai warriors, the center of our most sensitive nerves and our connection to life was in the gut, the Viscera by Sarah. It was also the center of our connection to death, and they meditated on this sensation as deeply as possible to create physical death awareness. So the gut is the center of our connection to death. Sorry, that's my lunch if you hear that beeping. We can often sense its physicality in those moments before we fall asleep. For a few seconds, we feel ourselves passing from one form of consciousness to another, and that slip has a death-like sensation. There is nothing to be afraid of in this. In fact, in moving in this direction, we make a major advancement in diminishing our chronic anxiety. We can use our imagination in this as well by envisioning the day our death arrives, where we might be, how it might come. We must make this as vivid as possible. I mean, literally. Can't make this up.
10 of Pentacles, we must make this as vivid as possible. This dream was their intention to prove that they weren't gone and they weren't going to stop until the truth came out. Going into calmer waters, things getting better. 6 swords of truth. I don't know what to say.
What do I feel like this means? In case that's not obvious. It's really connecting the samurai warriors is the connection to the killer. Then it talks about a dream, and the dream allowing us to.
Samurai sword is the connection to the killer. 6 of Wands, victory. The right person just admitted guilt. And they have been saying it from the beginning.
Envision as vividly as possible. So
envision as vividly as possible. 4 of Swords. What are these 2 videos about? My dream. They gave me this in the dream as proof that they came from the beginning, and they were not gone from the beginning. They were going to stay around and fight until there was answers. Tower. I don't need to explain that one.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to do it as soon as possible. This was another thing where I was like, I gotta go on and tell them, because that's just something's coming out in that reading. I don't know what it is, but something's coming out in that reading. I'm gonna try and do it tomorrow.
Yes, once again, I am going to try and do it tomorrow. I think I'm a little emotionally spent to do it right now. I wasn't anticipating this going in that direction. I really thought I was gonna sit down for, like, a chit chat. Let me get this off the screen one second. Thought I was kinda sitting down for, like, a chit chat, not, "Hey, girl, go watch these videos." I uh, um, let's end with one card from the Afterlife Outbox deck, and I am going to start recording that part 2 of this tomorrow. Um, I guess I'm gonna go back into the subsequent readings after that. Not all of them, but the one where I talk about that 10 card, I think it was 2 rows of 10 spread. Um, I'm gonna do what I did today and have them up as I pull cards. I don't know, I just kind of feel like the 4 are trying to say not as like a flex, but as a confirmation, like, "Everybody can breathe now. Look, we've been trying to show you this. Like, what we've been trying to show you has come to fruition," type of thing. Um, building castles in the sand. What we've been building is ready to show you. 7 years by Lucas Graham. It's gonna take a while to build it, but we're gonna stick around until it's built so we can show it to you. Industry, energy, and utilities. Utilizing energy to get the message out. What a clever way to answer that. Yin yang, good in the bad and bad in the good. I didn't realize until it was too late that letting go would have freed me sooner. Oh my goodness gracious. One second. I didn't realize until it was too late that letting go would have freed me sooner. Is that to Brian? Freedom. Walking away unfulfilled. Okay. That's a wrap for this part. I will see you as soon as I possibly can for part 2. Please remember this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not facts. Thank you for watching.
Bloodline, clean up, and or it could be because they saw this person cleaning. Are the police following, or do they have any current leads that are leading them close to the person or close to information that would lead to the person? 4 of Pentacles. Not really. Seven of Cups. There's something that they're not seeing the right way, or that they're not seeing fully, that's preventing them from opening that door that the right person is behind. It's almost like there's too much chaos. And if they kind of just slowed down and looked at it, or were willing to look at it from a different perspective, they would be able to piece something together that would get them close enough to the right person, or close enough to a warrant for the right person. Additional evidence at the scene may still be discovered. They are still, I believe they, or at least up to a couple hours ago, I'm sure they still are, but they were still at the scene, taking pictures and gathering evidence. So there could be something useful still there that they're now processing that could help lead them to the person, which is a very promising sign. I'm going to pull 2 more of these, and then we're going to wrap up this section. Cell phone records may provide important clues. I'm telling you, there's something in those text messages. There's something in those text messages between the girls that night that's pointing towards a crime of passion. In the future, the killer may admit guilt. That's a knife. So basically, they'll hopefully eventually get to this person and have enough damning evidence that they will kind of have to take some kind of plea bargain or admit guilt. Likely to, lessen their sentence or the harshness of their sentence in some way, because this is a very gruesome crime. And if you can tie someone to this, I mean, that's very, very hefty sentence. So it does seem like there's something at the crime scene that's whatever they find at the crime scene, plus what the girls have said back and forth and whatever else is in the phone records. The person will kind of be backed into a corner, the hangman in reverse. There's going to be a delay, though. There's going to be a little bit. It's not going to happen very quickly. It may even reach a little bit of a standstill where they might not be able to prove it enough to be comfortable to make an arrest, but they might be looking at a specific person. Page of Cups. So it's possible that this person right now thinks that because there has been a delay and because they haven't been arrested yet, that they might have think that they're getting away with it or have gotten away with it. And that might be part of the plan with the police. It might not. But they're going to find something in the evidence that compiled together with the text messages or whatever's in the phone records plus whatever is being found within the last 24 hours or so. Those two things together are going to begin to point them towards the right person that did this. Yeah. I want to pull a couple of these and then we're done for tonight. The first one is the current energy of the person who did this. It says, I won't cry for you. And it's like a girl on the card and she's like crying blood. And then in her hand, there's like a giant droplet of blood. So it's almost like this person feels like, they still feel like they were right because they got wronged. So they were just reacting. Obviously, that's not the case, but that's how they feel. I absolutely hate that. I hate that. I won't cry for you. It fits in perfectly with the energy of this person in like the worst way. The energy of who did the person who did this, their energy before they came into contact with the girls that night. So the killer's energy before they ever came into contact with the girls that night. The thinker, the father of knowledge, instruction, reinvention. There it is. He was trying to get back out there, trying to not let the past happen again. Whatever pattern he was stuck in of getting rejected and failing, he was like, I'm not doing it anymore. It's going to be a totally different leaf. And then boom, it happened again. And because of that, he was so angry about that. He was in the middle of reinventing himself and they kind of put a speed bump. So he doesn't feel bad. That was before, that was now. So what was the killer's energy as he was entering the house that night? Sacrifice. This is really dark energy. This person, um, like a ticking time bomb. Like, whenever it comes out for sure who did this, there's going to be people from that person's life that, like, if that are going to say, I'm not all that surprised. I'm not all that surprised. Would I paint this person for a killer? Like, would this person just go randomly kill people on the street? No. But in a situation where this person was rejected, I'm not surprised that this person did this. That's what people are going to say eventually about this person when we figure out who it is. It's like a certain itch that when it needs to be, how can I say this? It's like a certain button that this person may not be a homicidal lunatic all the time, but this one button, if you push it, people are not going to be surprised that this is the outcome from this person. So he goes into the house thinking sacrifice. What is his energy in the first bedroom when he went in, and the couple in the second floor? What was the energy of the killer when he was in that room? Forgetting oneself. Nothing else mattered but rage. That trigger was pushed and that button was pushed. It was like a blackout rage.